Yeah, hello and welcome to another update video about Bitcoin and Cardano. In this video, we're going to take a look at both charts, and yeah, Bitcoin is moving with fast pace towards my target area. Cardano is breaking out together with Bitcoin. That was also talked about in the last video. So we're going to take a look at Bitcoin first. Bitcoin, we talked about it. I made a video yesterday when it had already broken here into my target area and was stuck below 40.5k, and it has since then moved beyond that. So let's just take a look at where we're actually coming from, because there might be some new viewers here on the channel. We on this channel, or at least my primary view is, I need to zoom out a little bit more. This is basically the Bitcoin wave count, based on the assumption that we've made it here throughout September 20 into all the way into April 21. To back then new all-time highs in an impulsive move up in a wave 1. We then came down here in an ABC move in a wave A, came up in another ABC in a wave B, and now in a 5-wave move. That is at least my primary view at the moment, here to the downside. So you call that a 3-3-5 pattern, and the view of that would be, or the projected target would be, definitely sitting below that wave A. If it is that wave pattern, that's what I think, that's what I see. It would be below that wave A. That wave A ended at 28.7k. That is why I would see the price land lower, in that price area, below 28.7, all the way down to, in my view, 20k. And the 20k, I did say that before, they are based on Bitcoin never going below the high of the previous bull market. Okay, so that was 20k roughly. So I would expect there to find strong support. Just purely based on the Elliott Wave method, we could actually go down to around 15k, but I haven't got it on the chart. Otherwise we would have a massive target area as well. But I'm gonna narrow it down as we get into the target area, when we get there, if we get there, because there's never a guarantee. But from the top here, from the all-time high, which was basically part of this correction, we've moved down in a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pattern so far. I think we have seen the low of the wave 3 here. That was end of January. And since then, we've been moving up in a wave 4. I did give you here for that wave 4 a target area that is based on Fibonacci levels. So we can draw them again. We start here at the wave 2 top. So wave 2. Go down all the way to the low of the wave 3, and there we can see then the target area for that wave 4. We go down to the wave 3, and the target area for the wave 4 is a minimum of 38.8k. We talked about it, did that already. That's the 0.214 fib level, the minimum a wave 4 needs to do, with the ideal level at 43.36. So that is what I said all the time here would be my primary view that we're going to get to, because I just have to, because it is the most likely Fibonacci level here. I can speculate what I want, but this is just based on probabilities, also based on what Bitcoin did in the past. It's also always very important to look at what did a certain asset class reach in the past, and Bitcoin often in a wave 4 did reach the 0.382 fib level. So that is also the case, and typically when an asset class has been doing something, it doesn't change it throughout its lifetime. Just as a side note. So that is the 0.382, and it could even, it did say that it could even go to the next level. It could even, let me just show you that. Oops, make the box a bit smaller here. It could even go to the 0.5, so we could, as a maximum in this current scenario, go all the way up to 46.5. Personally, I think it will struggle to get there, and I'm going to continue to believe that we're going to get to the 43.3, the most likely level. But in the end, you never know. You never know. But if we go above 46.5, then I will look at a different scenario. It would probably still be a corrective scenario, but I'll definitely keep you updated about that. Bitcoin hasn't reached in this scenario here its target level down there. That's why I continue to believe that we're not going to build new all-time highs from here. Even though Bitcoin did break its descending trend line, a lot of cryptos did that. In the end, you never know. But that is why I started to dollar cost average into Bitcoin below 40K. Did talk about that, shared my buy orders, and that's why I'm set for both scenarios. Will I take profits at maybe a little bit higher? Maybe. Not quite clear about that. Normally I want to trade the bigger waves, not just the small wave 4 here, but depending on what some altcoins do, maybe. At the moment I'm not quite happy with the profits yet. I would wait, but of course anybody who followed my buy orders and who thinks prices will go lower again, because you never know, you never know, can of course take some profits. Personally, I would never take all profits. I wouldn't take, for example, if we talk about Ethereum, for example, which moved up from around 2,100 to now nearly 3,000. I would never sell all of it, because the prices could just continue to go up. You never know in this market. It's all about probabilities, and I'm more about life-changing gains, not about here making a few $100 or pounds with that, or depending on how much you invested. But yeah, I'm rather about building wealth, and then rather take profits on the next major wave up. I wouldn't consider this a major wave up. There are certain profits, and people can take profit, of course. It's up to you. Can't tell you, because it's a highly individual decision. There's always a question to come in the comments, but I can't tell you, because there's so many implications also about taxes, which is actually very important, because in some countries, when you make certain profits in crypto, you have to also pay more on your general income. So it might increase your whole tax band. So it is worth considering, is it really worth taking here profits for a few dollars or whatever, and then on all your other salaries suddenly pay much more? Then in the end you're not making any profits really. So that is why I can't answer these questions. It is so individual, and I'm extremely careful with just taking small profits, because it has a massive impact, right? But yeah, it looks great, and we've made it here from around 33 to 43, which is fantastic. And anybody who wants to take profits, of course, can do it. I'm still a bit careful with profit taking at the moment. Hasn't moved up enough for me to consider that yet. That's a personal decision here, but I still expect the price to come down lower, but of course cannot guarantee it. It's all about probabilities in this market, and it's best to just acknowledge it. But so far the probabilities we talked about in this channel, I think have been realized, so that is good. That is good. As you will remember, we talked about the continuation of the downtrend here since I think end of November. And also we talked recently here about this target area, and even though the price was struggling with getting into this target area and was not nearly rolling over, I continue to believe this would be the most likely scenario, that we would get into 43.3k or towards 43.3k. Fair enough, we're not there yet, but I think, as I said in my last video, if we break 40.5, there isn't really a lot that is stopping the price, other than maybe here being overbought on the 8-hour chart now as well. And it just needs a bit of recovery, a bit of retracement here. It just goes up a little bit too fast, so it will need to go down a little bit before it comes up further. And in the end, if it doesn't really reach 43.3k, it has been in the target area. It's done it, right? But I think we should get there. I still think we should get there before we then see another move down. And looking at the indicators, you can see, yes, we are overbought on the 4-hour chart. We are overbought here on the 8-hour chart, and it's getting a little bit overbought. That is not a problem. It will come down again. On the daily, there is still more scope to move higher. That is why we could really move a bit higher. The daily is quite meaningful for a move like that. So if the 8-hour recovers, or the 4-hour, could mean it brings the RSI down a little bit here. We make higher lows and higher highs on the RSI, which is fairly bullish. And on the 4-day chart, which I often use, you can see that now the selling pressure is actually reducing on the MACD. But is it sustainable? We will see. And on the RSI as well, we start to move a little bit higher here. So primary view, we are going to reach the 43.3 and then have to see how does the price actually react to this fib level. Bear in mind, this is also very close to the 50-day moving average coming down here, which is sitting pretty much at 43.1k at the moment. So it will be an interesting weekend, and that is what happens in the crypto market. It doesn't move at all or move sideways and gets boring. People exit the market, people sell because they're frustrated. And as I shared with the Telegram members a few days ago, in these periods where it's getting very boring, that's important to stay interested, right? Because that is when prices start to move up, and yeah, it's starting to do that now, but I don't think yet it is the move that will take us to new all-time highs. Nah, I don't think so. The longer time frame indicators, like here the monthly MACD, for example, they speak a completely different language. Yeah, we only had a bearish cross here recently on the monthly MACD, and it is still very, very high, and it has only very recently started to cross bearish. So in my view, this does not support new all-time highs from here. Yes, it supports, also based on, for example, the 4-day MACD, a 4-day RSI, it supports a certain price increase, but not yet new all-time highs in my view. And what we talked about as well, if the price really moves higher than from here and moves even above 46k, which would be my next target after that, I have to look at a different scenario. But again, that would probably still be a corrective scenario, and in that scenario we would move higher, possibly in a larger wave B, and it might be confusing now, but we would move higher than we do now in a wave 4. Possibly could reach near all-time high again before we then get into the sell-off. So it would just extend the whole correction, and then probably that is where I would then take some profits up here. But I'll keep you informed about everything. That's why I haven't issued any sell orders for myself yet. You remember we took sell orders for Harmony 1, Phantom, the Sandbox in this current move, and that was actually not still back in December. Sometimes it's important to remain patient. And I think we're heading into that direction again, where looking about for all channel members, where we're talking about sell orders might be interesting, but for me not yet. It's a bit too early. Right, looking at ADA, ADA did break out together with Bitcoin as indicated yesterday. If you see a breakout, it will probably break out in the direction of Bitcoin. Cardano also moving up here now finally substantially with 9% in the last 24 hours. Now sitting at $1.16, $1.17. We talked about this triangle here, which had formed for days now from the 21st of January. We looked at here yesterday the technical target. If it breaks out to the upside, we said we could here potentially reach a 130 level. That would make sense though as well. I think there's a previous low here, previous highs here. It was support resistance before, but before we get there, we need to break here the 125 level. That will be an important resistance level. Yeah, that is the previous low that we had here on the 14th of January. And that is where we could then, if we break it, we could get to all the way to 130, but always take these technical targets with a pinch of salt. The 25-cent level is also where we have this orange trend line that did support the price throughout 2021. So it's actually quite a relevant one. If I zoom out, you will see that clearer. There you go. This orange trend line provided support a lot. Yeah, so most recently we dropped below that, and we now need to reclaim that. What I think Cardano did possibly was here in this move all the way up to this to the top of the channel in which it actually is trading. Yeah, like many other cryptos as well in the channel. Cardano hasn't broken the trend line yet, but I think what it did here might have already been that wave 4 that Bitcoin is still in, and that is what I said in the last video. Might be a reason why Cardano is struggling a little bit to move very strong to the upside, because the wave 4 is already in. Yeah, the wave 4 is already in. Not guaranteed it is a wave 4, but I think so, looking at the fib levels and everything it did. And all of this might now be is from the wave 5, yeah, to the downside. Now a certain, maybe the first sub pattern. So we could talk here about a wave 1, 2, and then you move down. Wave 3, 4, and then you get down to your wave 5, yeah, and another 5-wave sub pattern. So that is why we now might move up here, might get all the way up to 125. That's the next resistance, or even here around. If we purely talk about where is the next key resistance, that would be here, that channel. And if we hit that today, it could be 140. So there are a lot of resistance levels along the way. That's just the message. The 20-day moving average, we already, I think, came above. We broke the 20-day moving average, and then we have to deal with the 50-day moving average and that orange trend line at around 125. There is also a Fibonacci level in that area before we then could move higher and have to address this channel. Before we really move above the previous wave 4 here, above 160, I wouldn't really want to talk about a beginning of an impulse. Bear in mind, in my alternative scenario, Cardano had already completed the correction. Yeah, so this is still, even with a very low possibility, it's there because Cardano has come down. It's come down, even in this alternative scenario here, it's come down to the 0.618 FIB level, the 96.7 cents. From here, it could theoretically also start its move up. Yeah, it has corrected down enough to enable it to do that. I don't think it's going to happen yet, but the possibility is always there. That is why I did start again also to dollar cost average into Cardano. I think that the message here also throughout the last few days before we now saw this pump for Bitcoin, the message was for many cryptos here that I had on this channel, I can't tell you when to buy, but if you are not invested yet and you want to invest, my message was that for a lot of the cryptos, we have already triggered target areas that I defined weeks and months ago. And again, these target areas are defined on technical aspects. They are not there for fun. They're not drawn out of the air. They are based on the charts and Fibonacci levels and ideal retracement levels. And when I have these target areas defined of the correction and we've reached them, there is a potential the price could move up from here with a fairly high probability. Not guaranteed. And my primary view is still we come down once more lower. But if we don't, everybody needs to make the decision for themselves. You know, do I want to carry out the first investment? Because if I don't and the price goes up, I'll miss it. So that is just a message. And we can see that it definitely would protect from FOMO now if those investments have been done. Because now the prices are moving up. I know people are already thinking, right, are we just going to go through here? Not necessarily the members of this channel here, but a lot of people already talking about the downtrend being broken. And again, I don't think so. This will be sold off soon and we're going to head lower, but there is never a guarantee, and that is the important message here. But it's looking good. Everything's doing is what it's supposed to be doing. 43.3 next target, and I'll keep you updated. Hope you liked the update. If you did, please smash the like button and subscribe. And if you really like the content, maybe join as a channel member. You can then get access to Telegram, Discord, and also my buy and sell orders, a weekly live stream, things like that. A lot of additional content and a great community. And you can join on my website, and you can find a link in the description, or you can do it here on YouTube. And see you in the next video. Thank you. Bye bye.